All right, thank you very much, Nick. I appreciate it. Yeah, like Coach said, I was a long time head coach for the last 7 years at Chapman, Kansas, and now I'm moving to which is a 3A school. Now I'm moving to Shawnee Mission Northwest in Kansas City, which is a 6A school. So, um, well, I'm sure there'll be some adjusting. Okay, but yeah, it's going to be nice to have 1,600 kids to choose from and be able to plug into the system. So my contact information, like I said, I'm moving. I'm in flux a little bit, so I don't have my Shawnee Mission email yet. But there's my Twitter handle. If you need anything, reach out. And actually, right now, I'm putting together some stuff for some people that have reached out since the last time I did this podcast. So don't be afraid to shoot me some questions. Okay, so like I said, here's a background. We won't go into it too much. We'll make sure we get into some film here. But like I said, I was a head coach at 3A Chapman from 17 to 21. They hadn't had a winning season in over a decade. I think 13 years before I took the job. We won 2 league championships and some playoff games. And during our peak, we averaged in our best year, we averaged 347 on the ground, which is a stat that I'm tremendously proud of. And I think most Flexbone guys is that rushing per game stat. In 2021, we fully committed to zone dive. I learned the scheme from a guy named Randy Dreiling, who's a legend in Kansas City, 8 state championships, 6 at Hutch and 2 at St. Thomas Aquinas. And Dustin Delaney, who's the offensive coordinator at Gardner Edgerton. And so zone dive took the place of ISO and outside veer for us because it can hit anywhere. And it's an incredibly important play to us because it deals with stimming fronts well. The kids know their rules. Their rules are simple. And it comes down to attitude and effort at that point. If your fullback's your best player, which he should be if you're in a Flexbone system, he can really have a tremendous success. And we've had, since we fully committed, we've had in the last, 3 years, we've had 2,000-yard fullbacks. And this last year, even though we had our struggles, our normal fullback broke his leg at the Jamboree going into the season, but 2 sophomore and a junior stepped up and both rushed for 500. So I guess you could count that too. So the background, we're just like any Flexbone team. Yes, we do run a ton of zone dive, but we do have our big 6 plays that we focus on. Zone dive, inside veer, midline follow, midline triple, rocket toss, and then our belly G play. If you want to see our total schematics, everything. This is from our year when we made our playoff run in 21 and had a very good team. This was the total menu in terms of tags and plays. We're a little bit different. Like I said, I'm fluent in Harding and Randy Dreiling, and we've sort of mashed those into a one weird thing that's just uniquely ours. So we use some Harding language and we use some Randy Dreiling, who he was inspired by a lot of Air Force stuff. So if you know any old 1990s Air Force stuff, there's a lot of good carryover there. Why zone dive? Okay, why is this such an important play, and why not just run ISO or outside veer? And the thing that I would tell you is if you really want, I think zone dive is a must. If you want to dabble in triple option, then it's not necessary. But if you're going to try and hang your hat on option, zone dive is so critical because it tips the defense's hands. In my opinion, when running zone dive, the defensive end has to squeeze. He has to squeeze because if he doesn't, if they're playing games, if they're X-stunting, if they're doing something like that, they're giving up too much, and you're getting 2 and 3 guys into that space, and then your fullback, all he has to do is cut to the right area. Play side backers can't scrape also. If you're having trouble with getting an extra guy on the perimeter because that backer is scraping over the top and say You're playing a 3-4 alignment team, and that guy is scraping wide, or a 4-4 team, and he's scraping. Now, because you're running a zone play, a zone dive play, if the A gap is uncovered and there's a three tech, that guard's going to base that 3 tech, and the ball should sink back into the A gap. So on an option play, if that backer is reading option because it looks the same and he scrapes out of there, there's no A gap plugger there. The center is working his way up A gap to cut off backside backer, and it should sink there. It holds the backers in the box, which opens up the perimeter game, as stated by the next bullet point. And then it gets your fullback the ball. It gets your fullback the ball. If your fullback is a guy with vision, he can make a lot of hay on just a simple, low risk play. And I know all football, but especially in the 3A level, I mean, we're trying to eliminate negative plays because they can kill you. And when you have an easy play that you can hit for a big game, it really opens everything else up. Get your fullback the ball and pain points on linebackers. You're getting your center up to the linebacker right now. You're getting your tackle on a plugger. Really good stuff. So making zone dive effective. What makes it work? Coach Strain in Wagner, Texas. I watched some clinic film on him, looked at his, and really was inspired by his fits that he drew up for how to practice running zone dive effectively. So he's a great guy. Picked up the phone for me, and I'm just from the middle of Kansas, nobody in Wagner, Texas. Amazing zone dive. Depth off the ball. Depth off the ball is going to allow you to get 2 steps into the ground and move 2 eyes, 3 techs. It's also going to allow you to scoop backside to make sure you get the backside taken care of. We're a big depth off the ball team. Your fullback has to practice every day sinking and sliding off the action key. The action key will be the first defensive lineman to the play side of the center. So 2-eye, if you have 2-eye, guard's going to block him. You are going to slide off that block. Okay, 3 tech, we're going to block him. You are going to sink. So you got to work sinks and slides. The tricky ones, if you get a 4-3 that's pinching, okay, you should turn that into a double slide. Because A and B gap are closed. That's something that you have to rep and have practice at. So every front, every day. I know that's a big Harding thing, a big Friends thing. By the way, there's not a better person or football coach in Kansas than Terry Harrison at Friends University. He's been so kind to me. And a lot of this stuff here is ideas from him. Just the very basics of it. He understands things way better than me, but this is the Spark Noted version. When you get odd defenses or stack defenses, getting in compressed sets, getting in tight end sets to make sure you can handle that tight 9 are things that you can do. Using tags, like we'll gate, that's guard and tackle double team. Buster tag for you Harding guys. So if you get a 4-eye and you're having trouble handling him, you can double team him out of there and make an easy slide for the back. Slams, that's where our compressed wide receiver is just going to go straight to the safety, and we're going to leave the corner standing out there doing nothing. So you can pick up an extra hat if you break through the line of scrimmage. I'll show you a clip of that here in a second. Turn, same thing. That 9's being really, really hard and aggressive. Okay. Our compressed wide receiver is just going to turn him out. He's just going to base him and turn him out. And then we're sinking and sliding without having to worry about that 9 in there. So here's what I was talking about earlier. If you can see our play scripts, there's option drill on the left. Ignore that. Here is on the right side, we've got our 22s, 23s. That's our fit. So we're going 4-3. My face is cutting off the screen on the right side there. So there's different things, X stunt, A-pop, those sort of things. So we try and give our guys every look that they could possibly get in a zone dive situation with all the gaps being filled and making the fullback react to that. And I'll show you a little bit of our zone dive half line session here coming up. And you can see some good things that we do, but you'll also see what can't happen because, it's late in the year. We think that we're pretty good. It was when we were getting ready for our playoff game week. And you can see us getting compressed. I mean, zone dive, you're fighting for space. You want space for your fullback to to work in there. So if teams are heavy and they're on you, which they should be, okay, and you're giving up that space, you're going to get condensed and you're going to get slammed like an accordion, and there's not going to be space there for the back. So we got to resist. Here's pictures of, you can see our depth off the ball. Okay, so our center is trying to stick the ball out there as far as he can to keep the defense back and to thud that thing up to the quarterback. And we have great angles to scoop at now. So the backside should never be an issue. And we should be able to get our center up to backer right now. And if you've got a center that can move and get to the next level and put his helmet in the chest of linebackers, that is a game changer, especially if you're facing 4-3 teams. There's Marysville right there on the left. They're really good 3A program there. And they played us in almost every front you can imagine that year. So that's another good thing about zone dive. Easy rules, okay? Up front, I'll go to the next slide and you can see it. Here's your splits. We'll talk about splits. So if you're going to run zone dive, you need splits so your fullback can have those escape lanes. And like you can see on the side, I bet you can guess which side we're going to run the ball to here. You know, the right side is we're running 22. You can see the Giants guard tackle split there. And part of it is this is a Smoky Valley team that is in a 4-3 and they are slanting every play. They're in twos and they're slanting. And that can be really, really tough on you if you're specifically just trying to hit it in a certain spot. Like we're hitting it off B gap and that's what it's going to be. But if you're fluid and if that 2-eye is slanting to 3, he's slanting into the B gap. If you take him where he wants to go and your fullback sticks his foot in the ground, now you have a play. You know, so we talk about there's your sink and slide images right there. We have our fullback 4.5 yards off the ball, a little tighter than some teams do. Zone dive, though, depending on the back and depending on his feel, okay, we can set his heels all the way back at 5. If you watch Air Force film, you know, you'll see that guy back at 6 yards when zone dive's coming. It's just so he can find the lane, the hole to run in, and it's really good to watch. So we're reading the action key. The action key right there would be the tackle in. So he's in a 2. He slants in. We're just going to stay on our path. Our fullback is stepping with that 6-inch step at the inside leg of the guard. We're making our mesh. Everything looks like option. The play side slot is going to step and skin the butt of the tackle, and he's going to stay attached to the tackle's hip. And he's going to run through that cylinder. And if there is space, he is going to engage. Now, we've done it 2 different ways in the past, and I've gone back and forward on it. The guard, we used to call it a sidecar. So the slot would stay attached to the tackle, and if there was space, he would sidecar the end, okay, getting him out of there, being low down by the hip, and continue on his path. And normally we'd be by him. Now teams start playing a little harder on you. Teams give you a little more space. We've gone to a technique where we're going low to the hip, like we talked about, and then we're shooting our hand between his legs and turning him like a saloon door. So that's the 2 ways we've done it. The good thing about the first way is you can pick up an extra guy at the second level. Good thing about the second way is you're darn sure going to take care of the squeezing end. If that guy, say slants inside, the tackle is the B gap protector. So anything that crosses his face, he's going to take and wash down. So if you got a 4, you know, we're running through his inside shoulder pad. He comes to A gap. We're going to take him and take him with us. Anything that comes into that A gap. Now, we're going to power veer, just like the Harding guys talk about, okay, where we're not going to trade hands and reduce our shoulders because we don't want to avoid contact. Some of the best looking zone dives we've had is when we're not power veering, we're running through that guy's inside shoulder, making contact with him, and he's a hanger. He's hanging on there. He's putting hands on the tackle, and he's trying to squeeze, and he's barely hanging out there for the slot, and the slot just stays on his path, stays connected to the tackle, destroys that guy, and then gets up to the backer, staying on his path. So that would look like this. I'm running through his shoulder. I'm the B-gap protector. Anything that attacks the B-gap, I take. I'm staying attached to his hip. And if he's a hanger, I'm smashing him into the backer. If he's loose, I'm going to get through there and get underneath and dig that guy. If he slants out, then you got two guys underneath that guy up to linebacker level, and that's when it can really get ugly for the other team. Okay, so here's some good images of sinks and slides. Okay, I believe the right side is going to be our sinks. So we're sinking back underneath that 2i there versus Holton. Okay, very, very good team, always in the playoffs. I believe they're 11-1 that year. Okay, here's a slide where we're sliding outside of the two tech, and according you can see these nice running lanes. See, there's the sidecar right there. That's beautiful. I mean, here's again, we're a little too high, but you can see what they're doing. Okay, there's a sink here. Okay, sink here. These are slide. So slides on the left, sinks on the right. So you can see the space that it creates. I mean, look at the space there. His head should be inside, but you're replacing a starter. So if you want to see it mapped down, any of this too, you can stop and pause the screen and look at it. So up here you got just a normal 4-4, B gap protector. Your rules should make you right whatever the defense does. If they're stimming late, you should know. Here's an example of the slam tag that I was talking about earlier at the bottom, where we're going to compress the formation, just send him right to the safety. So if they're in 4 eyes and they're in a 3-4, beautiful slot, attach the tackle right up to backer, sealing backer, tackle B gap protecting. You're going to get an easy slide because the fullback knows he's reading the first guy on the right side of the center. That's not a nose. We're not reading a nose. And then you got that guy at the safety. You're sliding off of everything, hash number sideline, and you should get your fullback on a corner, which is what a matchup we like. Down here at the bottom, so you got a bear front or 4 eyes, just gate that guy out of there, take him to linebacker level, combo off to the backside. Your slot's got a free shot at the 30 backer or 20 backer, and you can also tag it. We got a slam tag on there too. So that's part of it is zone dive. There's a lot of great flex bone coaches out there that call plays to beat fronts, and with zone dive, if you believe in it, you believe in your players can react correctly, you don't have to call the right place to beat the right front, because against that you probably call outside veer. You'd say, well, that's what we want. That looks like an outside veer. This up here, okay, looks like an inside veer give. Looks like an ISO. I mean, it's a play that can look like a lot of things, and now you do have to spend a ton of time working on it so it gets to that point. But there's a lot of great looks that you can get out of a simple play there. Okay, so here is us practicing zone dive in our zone dive film here. There's me in the middle looking at both sides. There's the right side of our line, left side of our line, and we're running zone dive versus an odd front here. And you can see there'll be some bad things, and you'll see some good things. So concentrating on our right side here. See how our tackle vacates too much space there. He's not running through that bag there, and you can see us get accordion down. Okay, we're trying to scoop the nose, and we're just see how much space is lost there, and that 9's coming in. That's hard. Our fullback's good. He's trying to find that ground, but we're losing the battle for space there. That's a bad rep. Next rep. Okay, a lot of odd front this week. That's better, but we're losing the battle for space again. Okay, so this is how we practice when we do our little zone dive pod. We'll do it in group pod and that sort of stuff too, but this is how we practice it when we're just working on zone dive and we're throwing a ton of fronts at them. Okay, okay, so here's the game film. This is Sabetha. Amazing program there. Garrett Mitchell he's won 2 state championships. I mean, he's one of the best coaches. We caught him at the right time at Chapman. We had some success against him. Okay, so I'm going to show you the same play, zone dive, versus the same front hitting in 3 different spots right in a row here. Okay, so they are an odd front team. They're in a 50 front, okay? And you're going to see this end not squeeze the power veer very hard, and we're able to dig him. We've also got a slam call down with this receiver at the bottom of the screen. You'll see him go right up to the safety and pin the safety. Okay, so here we go. Here's a film. Okay, we get under him. Does our slot? He's looking a little timid, but does he get under the end? Yes, he does. The movement. It's another great thing. Zone dive versus a 50. If you can scoop the nose, holy heck, you're getting that guard right up to the backer right now. We get a nice block on the safety. And then there we go. We got our fullback off and running. We got our backup fullback almost getting us a penalty running. Okay, so that was the first zone dive clip. And there's some bad stuff on here too. You know, we've got some stuff that needs to be cleaned up, but it's a pretty good team this year. Okay, now, same defense, same play. Now this end's going to start playing a little harder on our tackle. Okay, he's going to be on the inside eye of him. He's going to be really hard on him, but he's a little bit on the inside. So we told our tackle, okay, if you think he's in the B gap, if you feel he's in the B gap and you can't run through his inside shoulder, okay, you're the B gap protector. Take that guy. Okay, so give it a look here. Boom, our tackle engages that guy. Look at our slot right up to backer right now. Slot to backer. Just carnage in there. You got to love that too. Pain points. You need to hurt for weeks after playing Chapman or Shawnee Mission Northwest. Okay. The fullback is a smart, heady player. He's going to slide. And there we go. We get another one. Okay. Great. Off of 2 touchdowns off of the simplest play in football against a very, very good football team and a very good football coach. Now, another thing here, notice if teams are slow playing you or teams are 3-2 exchanging you, that's a dangerous game to play if you're a good zone dive team, because I don't even need a tight end in there right now. That outside linebacker is eliminating himself, okay, just based on the long motion. Okay. I'll fast forward through that. Okay, now after halftime, okay, I told you same plays. Now we started having a lot of success running to one side, so they're going 4-eye shape 5 to our side that they think is our power side. Okay, so watch where this one hits. And this fullback's he's a guy. He's a legit dude. He rushed for just under 2,000 yards his senior year. And if I would have been better and we could have made it one more game in the playoffs, he surely would have gotten 2,000. But he's a great kid, Eli Regal. But look at this. Where's that ball hit? That ball hits in the backside. You could argue A or B gap. And so why is it able to do that? It's because it's a zone play. It's a zone dive. If we told the kid, you're running through B gap, come heck or high water, he wouldn't have his eyes open. He wouldn't find that escape route there. And that's something I don't think you should coach out of him. I mean, he puts his foot in the ground, his eyes are up, his shoulders are square to the line of scrimmage, and he's finding that cut. Another thing about zone dive, you got to have your shoulders square to the line. There's another sink into play side A. Like, the defense can't be right if you got a good fullback. It can't be right because I've shown you. We hit it C gap, B gap, backside A, play side A, and it's hitting on all sorts of spots here. Okay, now this is the next week. These are all in order by our game. So this is Holton. Like I said, I showed you a picture of him, 11. Look at these dudes. I mean, look at that outside linebacker there. We can't block that dude. Okay, they went 10-1 this year. They're really good. Zone dive gives us a chance. Look at this. Finding the escape hatch. That hits backside A versus an odd front. Now we almost get power bomb there, but that's after 6-7 yards. Okay, so this is first snap of the game. So we don't exactly know what they're going to run. We have a good idea. Okay, but I should put my tight end over here. I should go left or get in a condensed formation and block that 9. But we didn't. Okay, if you're not running zone dive, your fullback might get just smoked by that guy because, hey, I told him to run in C gap, but no, our fullback is good. Where's the space? Where's the space? Where's the space? Look at that. Sinks it back. The only guy who can tackle him is the backside 4-eye folding. Love this kid. Love him. Okay, now Coach Webster's gotten smarter. He put a tight end in there, running zone dive to the tight end side because it's an odd front. Okay. Great movement. Colt Sell, all-state offensive lineman. Amazing kid. We block the 9. We block the 4. We slide. We sink it all the way through. That's a 10-yard gain on the easiest play of football. Okay. We have a shade here. They've reduced down. So we're getting 4 shade. Let's see, 3 or on the backside, whatever you want to call it. We double team the shade. He falls into B gap, so our tackle takes him. We get our slot through to the second level. Slot, actually, because he's blocking a path, the backer that he was going to plugged and eliminated himself, so he stays on his path. He actually picks up backside safety there. Wonderful. Wonderful. Playing football. Okay? And this is versus 4-4. This is a slot, a brand new slot thrown in the game. He's probably a little too loose for zone dive. This is a sophomore here. But the other slot got hurt in that Holton game. Look at that great dig. And look, he's kind of trying to slide it until he sees us get the dig. Shoves it up in there, gets a hurdle. Great play against the school to our west, big 4A school. Okay, again. We get the dig. 10 yards on the easiest play in football. Here's a good one. Now, this is where you can mess it up a little, and it's okay. Okay, if you're being physical. Being physical fixes everything. Okay. Now, I told you if he's got a hanger, he's gonna drill that guy and seal the edge and let the back slide. Now, this one, he doesn't quite have a hanger. He just engages him, and it turns it into a slide anyway. But when you're physical, you got a big old slot, that helps, Okay, Marysville, zone dive. This is 3-3 stack. By the way, you see 3-3 stack, run some zone dive. They're in a stack for a reason. It's trying to do silly stuff. If you're on your path and you're going on your path and your fullback is hitting it, sinking and sliding, whenever we see 3-3 stacks, that's my first thought is let's figure out what they're doing. Let's run zone dive. Okay, so let's go back and see what happened there. Turned into a slide. It's dangerous versus stack, but they're squeezing. We end up sealing that guy because he's a hanger. Fullback, 15 yards. Again, Marysville. Now, this is a problem that we got corrected, halfway through the season, but there's too much airtime there. There's too much airtime. When the quarterback sets his feet and reaches the ball back on his backside hip, see our quarterback's reaching too much. He's going to feel the back. Now, part of this is the backup fullback, but he's a hammer too. It's just, there's too much airtime there. Yeah, find you a fullback that runs like that. I should have played that kid more, but the first guy was really good. Okay, look at that. Okay, there's the end. So this is a sink. He's sinking it underneath the end, and he's running his tail off. Let's see, there's a slide. And something that, I talked about Terry Harrison, one of my mentors, the years that they've led the nation, all categories in rushing at Bethel and at Friends, zone dive has been 50% of their play calls. And that's a pretty ringing endorsement there, but it's, you can't cheat it. You got to rep it and rep it and rep it. There's the zone dive verse. What do we have here? 4-3. See, we're too loose there. We changed the way that we're doing it we changed the sidecar philosophy mostly because of how some of these blocks started working out down the hill, down the course of the season. See how 24 here, he's supposed to step with his left foot right there. False steps, okay? And then instead of staying on his path connected to the tackle's hip, okay, and shooting an arm through the leg there and clearing that guy, he gets hung up and his hat gets on the outside, which we cannot happen. That is a sin. But our fullback finds a cut. What made that okay? what made that work okay? Look at the splits. Big splits. Absolutely destroys the slanting 2-eye. Our center gets up to the linebacker level. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, going again here. Now, this is the clip I wanted to show you too. This is what we call a hanger, man. If you've got a hanger and so that's somebody just hanging on to the end, not giving their connect. There's no space in between them that you can dig them, but you can see their outside shoulder, outside half. Okay. Watch what our slot does to hopefully the end zone film will come up here. All right. Watch this. Okay. Hanger. He's trying to stay completely squared on him. Our guard is moving him. He's hanging on him because our guard is running through his inside shoulder. Now, watch our slot get onto this guy's hip and just bury him. Look at that. I mean, what would you do to get that kind of movement on a double team if you're just teaching a double team? We're not teaching a double team. We're saying go run through that guy's inside shoulder pad and slot. You stay connected to his hip, okay? And that's what ends up happening if teams are being real stubborn against you, okay? Again, golly, God bless this kid. Okay. You know, he's been sliding it all game. Look at this. And recognizes the sink because his shoulders are square and goes and sinks it for a 6-yard gain. Outstanding. Oh, he falls down. It's fine. Let's go to a different team. That was a 4th. So we've seen odd front. We've seen 4-3. Here's 4-4. Okay. Easy place. So we reduce our splits. And here's another thing, watching overhangs. How are your overhangs playing? If your overhangs are, if you're in an odd front and those guys are lining up inside of your receivers, you should just pin them and run rocket toss or run mid triple or run, whatever you want to do. If they're lining up wide, then you should run an inside play. You should run, zone dive, ISO, G, whatever, but those overhangs, you should have an answer based on what they're doing. So here's overhangs outside. Let's run zone dive. Great clip here of the slot staying on his path to the backer. Okay. When we got a backup right tackle in there too, our stud got hurt the week before. B-gap protector, pins the slanter. He stays on his path, gets to play side backer. Absolutely great. Our receiver, selfless, gets up to the 1 high safety, working hard, not taking the play off. And then, whoa, we get it all the way down. He's still fighting. Good job. Okay, so here's the end zone film. So there's the 1 high safety cheating to the field. There's the guy who slanted into B-gap. There's the slot staying on his path to 59. We're going to slide it. Beautiful. Great rep. Okay, again here. Good paddle level, helmet in the chest, eyes in the chest. That is beautiful. I think our quarterback bobbles the ball here. Gets it. We sidecar that guy. Oh, we get tackled at the 2. Gosh almighty. Now, okay. Here's an example, and I want to get to the Concordia stuff here later because they were a really good team this season. This season that I'm showing you.
You got about 5 minutes, Coach. 5 minutes.
5 minutes? Okay.
Yep.
Okay, good. Well, like here we have a 3-tech on us. Okay, now when we're base blocking our technique, we're gonna step to his crotch. Okay. And we're going to keep our bolts under his bolts. We're going to try and bite the belt. If you're shooting at his belt, that will put you in his chest when it comes time to make contact. So in doing that and stepping to him, teams are so hard on us, and this isn't the best example. The Concordia film is the best example because we run midline. We run a lot of midline, they're so hard on us that when we step to them, they've reached themselves. And our fullback is good enough to see that because pre-snap, he's seeing a 3-tech and he's thinking, okay, I'm sinking that. But when he gets the ball, we've reached that guy. he's sliding it, and it turns into a big play. You see how quick that quick movement is? It's a special back, man. Okay. Keep going here. Keep going. Okay, so here's exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. 3 tech. Look at this front here. They got a lot of dudes right up near the line of scrimmage. Okay, look at the end zone here. There it is. Okay. 3 tech. We're stepping to his crotch, and we immediately reach him. So instead of him slamming it up in there because you told him it's an A-gap play, he's going to be an athlete. Boom. Look at this. B-gap protector. He's dug. Look at our pad level. We're underneath him. Beautiful slide. Makes the free safety miss. That's a big play in a big game here. This was for the league championship that year. Now here's a nifty one too. Zone dive to a tight end versus an even front. Zone dive to a tight end versus an even front. Now we're going to send, say they want to play a 6 or a 7. Okay, we're going to send that tight end to the force player out here, and this end, if he steps to the tight end, you don't need to do anything. If he steps to the tight end, that thing's going to hit. You're going to get tackled. You're going to get slot up to the same level. Look at the slot blocking the one high safety. Golly, that's our backup fullback. Puts it in. Watch the tight end here. Watch the tight end in the end. The end is going to step out with him because he's been told, hit that guy. Don't let him, because we will outside release and pitch the ball. So the teams that stretch with us and make it hard to do that, if you can attach that to zone dive, here's where the sidecar stuff comes in handy. Because if we were just gonna, not stay attached to the tackle and just say, hey, go block that guy out, we'd miss out on getting him up to, look at a great football player. Gets his eyes on him, knows he's the last guy left, and we score a touchdown there. And then find your fullback that runs like this. Great stuff there. Okay, 3 tech. Again, we're in his belt. He's high. We are scooping the backside. We're getting our center up to backside backer. We slide it because, hey, our fullback, he's right. He's right. There's a 3 tech there, but he's immediately reached by the time we step to him. I mean, don't coach that out of him. Holy heck, don't coach that out of him. Again, and this is a good football team this year. I mean, I think we were 5-1 at this point, and they were 5-1. I mean, it was a great game. Okay, and then I know my time's running short. I'll show you the end zone film of this. Like I said, these guys, big slanters. I think they're slanting. We'll see where they're slanting here. Slanting in. So we slide it. I mean, yeah. Great stuff there. I mean, I don't want to go over on time, but I'll put my stuff back up on there again. Coach Webster, be at Shawnee Mission Northwest this upcoming season. The Cougars be working underneath Bo Black, a legend in Kansas coaching, and we're going to be taking the Flexbone to Kansas City. So, go ahead and feel free to follow me while I'm there, and follow me on Twitter, and I'll get you some stuff. So thank you very much. I appreciate you. And if you've asked me for something in the past and you didn't get, don't feel bad about hitting me up again, because I'm a busy guy. I got two young kiddos running around, so sometimes it might take an extra nudge. So thank you very much. And
2 questions, Coach.
You.
We had
Okay.
One is, do you run smart splits with your zone dive? Do you adjust your splits according to certain things, or is it just pretty much stagnant for the most part?
We try and keep 3-foot splits, but as you can see, by the players knowing what they need to do, like the backside will shorten up sometimes, and we don't yell at them too much for that. If you're facing an odd front team, I think getting shorter splits isn't a bad idea, because it makes that slide easier to recognize. And that's all the film I showed you is from the best reading fullback I've ever had. So some of them didn't read it that clean. So splits can help you, especially against certain fronts like 50s and stuff like that.
Okay, and then
tight end splits we mess with.
And then I know this is probably not going to be a short answer, so let's try. Because again, before I ask this last question, like when I say this speaker will answer and respond to any of you, I generally mean like every time we talk, he's like, "Well, I've gotten 18 like since last time," so like he will truly like if you have a question, if you watch this now or later, Coach Webster will send you stuff, answer questions. I mean. He's just awesome. But can you explain gate, slam, and I can't because give me 1 second. Let me type something in here because the heart is and turn again.
Oh yeah. So how we call our double teams, and this isn't the Harding way, but so we understand it. So a cage would be a center and a guard combination. Okay, so whenever we get a shade, we're 8 would be a guard tackle double team. If we get a 3 tech that we're having trouble handling, if we get a 4 that we're having trouble handling anybody in the B gap, we're going to gate them. It's the same thing as an ace or a buster for Harding. Slam, it's when we reduce a wide receiver and we send him straight to the safety. So it's like we're not calling a switch or a swap because that tells the slot to go to the corner. We just want to send a receiver to the safety, whether it's 1 high or 2 high. If we tag it with a slam, that means reduced wide receiver, go block that safety now, and we'll leave the corner unblocked because it's a zone dive play. It's going to hit tighter. Okay, go get it, and then turn. So turn tag for us would be if you have say a 50 front, and the backer is lining up outside shoulder or outside of your reduced receiver. So you just say turn. So you're going to step to him, engage him, and turn him out of the play. So if you're running zone dive and that guy's chasing stuff down and adding an extra guy and hitting the slide, add in a reduced receiver or a tight end and block turn. And that's something that is just my own. It might not be very smart, but that's what we call it. Hey, turn that guy the heck out of here. He's messing stuff up.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, Coach A, for speaking, and B, for jumping on early and bailing us out. So, like, I appreciate that as always. And I kind of texted the guys who helped me put this together. I'm like, it kind of worked out because instead of going for 30 minutes, you went for like 45. So, like, I mean, killing it as always. I wish you luck at Shawnee, Mission Northwest, if I can enunciate. And again, as always, coaches, give Coach a follow on Twitter. Reach out to him if you got any questions. He's part of the good crew that helps take care of other coaches. So thanks, Coach.
No problem. Thank you. I appreciate it.